I think it's extraordinary that a race like this, 30th anniversary, has so much history and has been so important and influential and instrumental in the growth of triathlon. So to be a part of that it's a lot of fun. Well, we're having great success right now with the 70.3 in Putrajaya and Ironman Malaysia. So those races, which will go off for the first time in 2014, are going to be big races. They're well received by athletes in the region. We're getting lots of athletes from the areas where we thought we were going to get them, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines. And we think they're going to be important in helping to grow the sport within the region. Well, I think it's important to recognize that increasingly Ironman is a global sport, and the athletes are coming from all parts of the world, both at the age group and the pro level. So to see consistent success from European athletes, Leanda Cave, Freddie Van Leert, obviously, Chrissy Wellington, to counterbalance the success that we've had with all the great Australian champions, Pete and Crowe and Marinda. The only place we're really lacking right now is we need a little bit more success in North America, in Hawaii. Well, the races that had challenge licenses, it's important to recognize those races aren't owned by Challenge. Those races are owned by individual entrepreneurs, by race directors, by people who have built those races, and they belong to them. And those guys, be it in Kraichgau or in Denmark or USM in Cairns, they own the races, and it is for them to decide what they want to do with them. And if they want to talk to us, we'll talk to them. If they don't want to talk to us, that's okay too. Well, I think unionization of the professionals would be great, because they are, as a group, not aligned at all. And it's very difficult for us to have a meaningful dialogue with the professionals when the interests of the professional athletes are not aligned and aren't consistent. And essentially every pro that you talk to has a different point of view. And some people think it's terrible that we pay 10 deep in Kona. Some people think it's great. It all depends on whether you think you're going to be one of those 10. So having a reliable counterparty to talk to, it's not a bad thing for us at all. In terms of overall prize money, I think we pay $4 million US in prize money, which is, 10 times more than anybody else. So we think that we provide a very good platform for professional athletes. Well, there's enormous parts of the world where by any definition we're underpenetrated. We have a lot of races in Australia and New Zealand, but we don't have a lot of races in Asia. Relatively speaking, we don't have a lot of races in Southern Europe. We don't have a Kona qualifier in Italy. We don't have any races at all in the Middle East. We have one race, our Budapest 70.3, which will take place later this year, is the only race in former Eastern Europe. We have 5 races in all of South America. We have 2 races between 70.3 and Ironman on the continent of Africa. There's athletes in all these places. So I think we're a long way away from being fully penetrated, and I expect to see continued growth in athletes and continued growth in the number of races in the future. So I think that we've experimented and will continue to experiment. We had Kona slots for the Auckland 70.3. We've had Kona slots for the Mandurah 70.3. We won't have Kona slots for either of those races for the next year's race. But I think for some 70.3s we'll have slots, but clearly we are putting more emphasis on having Kona slots at full distance races. Oh, for sure it's working. You look at the fields that you see in Frankfurt, in Melbourne, and they're fantastic. The racing is really sharp, it's really competitive. And so that clearly is driving, the bigger pro names and real competitiveness at an age group level as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I think the points support it.